News on the street is that there is a new way for YouTube to censor. I wonder if they have like a brainstorming brigade that just has one goal to find out how to censor more videos, how to hammer down on those pesky independent creators. So this is not confirmed yet. Take it with a grain of salt. This is just what people on Twitter are saying. There's nothing official from YouTube. I think I need to make that clear. But apparently, there was a live streamer from Canada streaming the trucking protest. And his live stream was getting very popular because he was having on-the-ground footage. You know, the thing that mainstream media is supposed to do, but they don't do anymore, it's called investigative reporting. Puh, horrible. Investigative report. Ugh. You need to editorialize. Tell people what to think. You can't just show the information for people. It needs to come up with the editorial, right? Like what the corporation wants you to think, to how you should interpret the news. That is the correct way. Simply showing people what's happening on the ground, that is dangerous. They can't call it misinformation, but I'm pretty sure it's going to have a name for it. Kind of reminds me with what happened during the protests and the BLM riots. You know, like Twitch didn't allow people to just live stream the events. And I think it was the ACLU freaking out that cops were live streaming with their body camera. So they just don't want people to get like access to unedited footage. Like, how can people think what the media wants them to think if the footage is unedited? So because of that, you have this feature, which claims that this video is popular, but due to limited creator history, we're limiting the number of viewers. Subscribe to this channel to help this creator reach a broader audience. So this comes after YouTube removed the dislike button for helping smaller creators, allegedly, right? Because smaller creators were complaining about the dislike button, so YouTube removed it. But at the same time, if you're a smaller creator and you manage to hit gold, like you manage to be in a certain event that is not being shown by the media and you're doing a live stream and you're gaining a lot of support, well, you're going to have people unable to see what you are streaming because of this. So I'm just really curious, how exactly is YouTube helping small independent creators? So I wonder, like, if they would have done the same with Occupy Wall Street. Because I remember, like, during Occupy Wall Street, the media didn't like it in the beginning. Do you guys remember? It was bad people at Occupy Wall Street. And they were doing drugs and they were ridiculous. Like, I remember the media focusing on that. Hyper-focusing on everything but what those people were asking for. Yeah. So, if YouTube existed back then, do you think they would have censored the Occupy Wall Street protests? Do you think they would not allow people to show how many are in the crowd and, you know, talk with some of the reasonable folk? Or would they have let the media just pick out the crazies from the group and then paint the whole group as crazy? What do you guys think? It's very interesting. So, yeah, I mean, this is a completely new feature. And I guess only the corporations are allowed to report news from the ground and choose what gets reported and what doesn't get reported. Because, again, if you look at the trucker thing in Canada, if you look at the media, they barely show any pictures of it. But if you go online and you go on Twitter, for example, there's live streams and it just shows how massive the protests are as far as the eye can see. Probably, I might be wrong, but it's probably the biggest truck protest in the history of Canada. I mean, entire streets filled with them. So, yeah, it's a big deal. It's not just a couple of them like Trudeau has initially said. And they're honking, by the way. They're honking constantly because the media doesn't hear them. And you can see on Twitter a lot of blue check marks upset by the noise. I should make a video where I go through some of them. But everything just to avoid addressing the problem. Everything just to avoid addressing the criticism. I mean, they have called the truckers white supremacists. They have called the truckers Nazis. I mean, exactly. You know, when you think of a skinhead, clearly the trucker is the first thing that most people are thinking of, right? I mean, it's synonymous because clearly someone went down and spoke with all of them and he did a political compass test and all of them are National Socialist inclined. Yes? Clearly. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. we're going to have to talk a little bit about that with more in depth. In the meantime, very interesting about this new way of censorship. So if you're a small channel and you get a lot of views, YouTube doesn't trust you. Like, you need subscribers first, and then you can get the views. And they've been doing this for a while. It started with the trending tab, and people showed that if you're a mainstream media channel and you get like 10,000 views, that the video went on trending. But if you're an independent content creator and you would get 1 million views, then that video wouldn't be trending. So some channels had access to trending abilities that would be triggered on far fewer views than other channels which required tens of millions of views to be trending. And then they manipulated the search engine, where some channels like the mainstream media, regardless of the numbers of views they have, are always on the top. And then if you're an independent content creator, you can have a lot of views and you're not going to be on the first page. This is something that YouTube came out saying that they're doing, so it's not a conspiracy or whatever. Like, they admit of doing this, of manipulating the search and the trending tab. And I guess now they're also doing, like, if you're a channel that doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but you happen to be where an event is happening, you're not allowed to show footage because, well, even if you're not breaking the TOS, you're not famous enough. So the average Joe can never do citizen journalism. But what the average Joe can do is, like, he can do citizen journalism and then sell it to CNN, and CNN can then put ads on it, and they can monetize and make money off of it. I have seen this happen time and time again, where, like, let's say there's a nasty car crash, and someone happens to be there and they film it. Well, the mainstream media takes that footage, they talk with the guy. Usually they don't even pay anything. Like, hey, is it okay if we use your footage? And then they use that footage, and they put ads on it, and they sell it, and it can even be on YouTube sometimes. It depends on the content, but still, right? I mean, that is the way it goes now. It's like, broadcast yourself, more like broadcast your corporation. And regarding this, like, the only possible reason I can see is to avoid another Jake Paul incident. So Jake Paul actually faked that video. I do not believe that it was legit, but he was walking in a forest in Japan, which was very famous for the fact that a lot of people hanged themselves in that forest, and all of a sudden he happens to come across a person that did that. So the live stream explodes, like, in numbers. A lot of people are watching, and for some reason YouTube gets into trouble over what Jake Paul did, even though YouTube actually shut down the live stream. So that is, like, the only reason why I can see them trying to do something like that. But again, Jake Paul was actually a prominent channel. Like, he wasn't a nobody. The very chance that, like, some random person manages to have like a lot of viewers is if they're in the moment, if they actually manage to see something, and that could actually launch their YouTube career, that could put them on the map. But apparently, we help small creators by removing the dislike button. But if you're a small creator, you better have some subscribers if you want to be popular. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.